Hey, Sunshine Do Buckaroos. How the heck are you? I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer. As we approach my birthday, I was going to wait to open up a new one for my birthday, but I haven't had a rye in a while. So I did open this one, mostly because I was really curious about it. I've had some Hard Truth products, but this one is a collaboration with Mellencamp Whiskey Company, which I have never had anything from. So partly I wanted to go ahead and pop it to see if I liked it or not, how good it was, if I needed to get another one before the shelf was empty, that kind of thing. So this is Hard Truth Distilling French Oak Harvest Rye. This is their sweet mash straight rye whiskey finished in toasted French oak, which I found interesting. Toasted French oak is known to give you more vanilla notes. This particular whiskey is at 104 proof or 52%. Hard Truth Distilling, a Mellencamp Whiskey Company collaboration, limited edition collector series. That's why I wanted to try this one. Each bottle supports sustainable farming initiatives in our local farming family. So that I liked as well. Aged over 3 years. So it's probably an under 4-year whiskey. Trying to see if it gives me anything about the mash other than that, but I'm not seeing any other information about the percentages of things. Nevertheless, so I am going to have a Manhattan with that. It's one reason I really wanted a rye, because I've been out of rye for a little bit. And I do like the bourbon Manhattan, especially if I'm using a high rye bourbon. But I really love their rye. When we were out there last year, I got a bottle of their cask rye, and it was just so insanely good. But at that time, I wasn't able to find their products here in town, but now I can. Oh, that nose is insane, man. Obviously, a lot of big vanilla on the nose, but there's so much more going on. Oh gosh, that's delicious. Whiskey guys, like myself, like to talk about flavors and aromas, sometimes ad nauseum. But the one thing I always like to bring up is how it feels, right? How does it go down? This whiskey is so luxurious. The mouthfeel is just impeccable. Remarkably easy to drink at that 104. And I'm not impervious to alcohol. I definitely do get buzzed, but and maybe it's a little genetic that I don't. I'm kind of impervious to burn. Right, other folks will feel that I get this burn or I get this. I don't get that. My particular genetics were made for whiskey drinking apparently, because I do prefer cask or higher proof whiskeys. They taste better to me. A lot of anything at 80, to be honest with you, anymore tastes very watery to me. So I rarely buy anything under 90 as far as whiskey is concerned anyway. I would like to know what the complete mash bill on this is, because it's just so gorgeous. Those nice, beautiful, spicy rye notes. Get a little bit of sweetness in there. I almost feel like I'm picking up some very dark brown sugar, because you get a little molasses. You might feel some dark fruit notes. That's really between you and your taster. But I feel like I'm getting some dark cherry notes in there. And being a Manhattan drinker might be why I'm picking that up. But again, it depends on your knowledge of dark fruits, what you taste. It certainly wouldn't be unusual to me if you're picking up date and or fig. Maybe even overripe plum as well. Raisin would be one certainly to be found. But I really like that oak, that French oak. Oh, cheese whiz and bacon. That's just amazing. It's on the sweet side for rye, which isn't bad because it is balanced impeccably well. But you do feel those sugars right away. Again, I mentioned very dark brown sugar because you're going to feel some molasses. You might get just a touch of maple. So I'm going to have this, and I'm going to have a Manhattan tonight. And then I'm not even going to think about it until my birthday here in a few days. I may not have it exactly on my birthday, but I may have it that Saturday, depending on how hungover I may be. Um, Man, that is just so nice. Again, I don't know if you can see there, but this is just so easy to drink at that 104 proof. I really love their cask rye that I bought at the Hard Truth. See, I already can't talk. At the Hard Truth Tap Room or Hard Truth Bar rather, at the garage in Indianapolis. They were running a special at that time for the rye with their a bourbon cream. It was ridiculously inexpensive for that cask rye with that bourbon cream. It was amazing. It was so good, man. And when we left there, I was really upset at myself for not buying a second bottle of that damn rye, man. It was so good. But then when we were on our way home, we stopped at the Jungle Gyms in the whiskey area there. They had the Hard Truth High Road Rye at 92 proof, and that was very good too. So I was glad about that, but was really missing that cask, and to be able to find this one at 104. Yeah, if they've got any more left, I may have to get another one. It is insanely good. Gosh, that is just so tasty. And again, it is remarkably easy to drink at that 140 or 104. 104. Oh, that is so good. You know, when I went to that Hard Truth bar twice, and they were extremely busy both times, and yet the customer service was impeccable. And they had people behind the bar that knew what they were talking about, which was nice. Us whiskey guys tend to like to ask a lot of questions. And it's nice when people can answer them. Sometimes the descriptor there tells you everything you want to know, but every once in a while there's something that maybe it's just you want to know that's a little bit different. But I will tell you, as busy as they were friendly, courteous. I would love to get back there. All right, so I'm almost done here, but I'm going to be right back with a Manhattan to talk to you about. Hey, Slange New Buckaroos, and how the heck are you? If you haven't figured it out, no, I'm not in this old timey room behind me, but I was trying to set a mood, having a Manhattan with you. Oh my god, that's delicious. Oh my god, that's amazing. Again, with this Hard Truth Trying to spill my drink here. It takes some concentration, man. This Hard Truth collaboration with Mellencamp Whiskey. I haven't had anything from Mellencamp Whiskey. So I was curious about this collab. Being a beer guy too, beer guys love collabs, man. so most of us whiskey guys do too, or us whiskey guys that are also beer guys. We love the collab, man. Oh my God. Anyway, having said that, it's 104 proof rye. And I had some neat with you, obviously, earlier. And it was so remarkably easy to drink. I was curious how it would affect the Manhattan. And oh my Lord. My Lord. So what I did here is, again, I've got... about 2 1/4 ounces of the whiskey, about 3/4 ounce of sweet vermouth, and I decided to go with more of a kind of a summer feel, so I used cherry bitters. You could do whatever bitters you like. If you want to use standard Angostura, if you want to use a Peychaud, whatever sounds good to you is fine. I've been tend to really change it up depending on my mood at any given time or the season. I have ginger bitters that I really like to use a lot, so I thought about using it in here, but I wanted to keep it as pure as possible. That whiskey was, oh my God, that whiskey is tailor-made. That rye is tailor-made for a Manhattan. It is it's the French Oak Harvest Rye, straight rye whiskey, finished in toasted French oak. And I'm telling you, this stuff is just insanely good. Being a rye, I did have to have it at least once in a Manhattan. But to be honest with you, as good as that whiskey is, I'm probably going to drink most of the rest of the bottle neat because it is just insanely good. Oh, fuck nuggets and gravy. That is just delicious. That's just amazing, man. I'm not sure where I got a taste for Manhattans. And quite frankly, I'm not even sure when I had my first one. I think I ordered one just to be ordering one, to be honest with you. I was probably... probably well in my 40s, but I might have even been over 50 before I even had my first one, to be honest with you. I do remember in about 2015, it was August of 2015, I would have been just over 50. And that might have been the first time I had one, now that I think about it. No, I know I had it before that because that's the reason I wanted to have one there. So anyways, I'm going a long way around the barn trying to remember. So in 2015, my wife and I were in St. Louis and we stayed at the Moonrise Hotel. It's kind of a kitschy hotel. I mean, it's nice, don't get me wrong, but it's got kind of that kitschy kind of feel, which is kind of why we wanted to stay there. But anyway, they have a bar downstairs in the lobby area, but they also have a rooftop bar. In the rooftop bar, they have a month-old Manhattan. Downstairs, you can get the year-old, and I had both of them there. But I was thinking I had the Manhattan somewhere else once before, which is why I really wanted to try those. But I can't remember where now. But anyway, I was probably, if I wasn't 50 yet, I was probably pretty close to it by the time I had my first one. It's not something we had. We talked, I'm a working class guy, so working class guys don't drink Manhattans. Dad was basically a bourbon and water drinker. Stayed with that highball notion. He did know how to make other drinks though, because when folks would come to the house, he'd make friends, martinis and even Manhattans. It just wasn't something he ever had. But for whatever reason, I have a real taste for this particular cocktail. But I did learn, I've said over and over again that your cocktail is only as good as the ingredients you put in it. So I would use, when I started making mine at home and started talking about it, I was using a very good bourbon and or rye. I was using a good whiskey. But my vermouth might not have been the best choice at the time until I started learning different things about vermouth. And again, I always say, your cocktail is only as good as the ingredients you put in it. And you tend to think only of the main ingredient, which in this case is the bourbon or rye, but it's everything else. It's the quality of the vermouth, it's your bitters. If you want a good cocktail, you gotta make a good cocktail. You gotta use the right ingredients. So I always make sure I put the whiskey in that I want. But now, as I'm acquiring, let's just say, an appreciation for vermouth, you got to use a very good quality vermouth. Or you might as well be using your top shelf liquor and put Coke in. You're going to ruin your cocktail if you're not, if not every part of your cocktail is up to par. Oh, mercy, that is just delicious. So anyways, I digress. I am Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor wisdom. I had some fancier things, not real fancy, but fancier than just a toothpick, but I ran out, didn't realize I was out. So I'm going to have to really find some garnish thingies. Usually, in all honesty, I just put the cherry in the bottom of the drink, because I've always been, use the fancy garnish thingies for optics, right? But I've always said that the garnish doesn't do you any good outside of the cocktail. You want it inside the cocktail. So anyways, I digress. Let me pull this out so I don't swallow the toothpick. I'm Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor wisdom, and I was really sad when I ran out of my last Hard Truth product. So the first night we were in Indianapolis, I bought the Hard Truth thing with the rye and the cask rye with the bourbon cream, and then the second night I bought their sweet mash bourbon. But I wish I just would have bought a second bottle of that rye, because it was so good. The bourbon was good. Don't get me wrong. Don't misunderstand. But wow, that cask rye was insane. So anyways, one more time with feeling, I'm Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and that stuff is so good. I can't even. Oh, mercy, that's tasty. Sláinte.